thought that... Mr. Desmond.
Yes, Holly. What's the matter? Didn't you like your bed?
You're going to think I'm pretty weird, but I guess I kind of conked out for a while. I thought I was at home waiting for my dad to come.
Ah, I know. I know the feeling only too well. Sometimes, you know, when memories haunt dreams, nightmares can follow. Now, what you need is a good cup of coffee.
To down the bumpy feeling that comes in the night?
Well, if we're going to do that, then the coffee will have to be extra hot.
Good morning, Dan.
It's too early. Let's wait and see.
Have some coffee. Maybe it'll help.
Oh. 2 cups. ESP, clairvoyance, or witchcraft.
Observation. I saw you heading up from the dock.
Well, let's hope this coffee's better than usual.
Well, it can't be any worse. Perhaps the day will also be an improvement.
I never realized how short my temper fuse really is. I've toured every dock on this island since sunup, and I can't find a single soul who'll run me over to Maljardin.
Too treacherous, too dangerous, too superstitious. The channel, the trip, the belief, in that order.
I can't accept that nobody runs that channel except Quito and Jean-Paul Desmond.
Oh, some have tried. And all have died.
You're saying there's a jinx of some kind?
There's the fear that circulates.
Oh, that's it. Fear, not fact. That's what's infuriating.
Well, combine the two, fact and fear. That channel is a cross between a tide and a continual tornado. It's full of rocks and shoals. Actually, it's never even been properly charted. Maybe it's Jean-Paul's protection against a world trying to beat a path to his door.
A door that seems locked, always from the inside. Now, all right, that channel is tricky. Why can't some natives run it by instinct?
It's instinct that prevents them from even trying. Dan, it's no accident that that island is called Maljardin.
Oh, yes, the old Garden of Evil legend. That goes way back to Jean-Paul Desmond's ancestors, back almost 300 years.
But its history of death keeps being updated.
Oh, come on, Banji. It's too early in the morning for me to buy that. What is it? Did someone else over there die?
Someone controlled by what goes on there. Haven't you heard about my father?
Since my father's death, everything's become so complicated.
I know, but that was quite some time ago, Holly.
But not enough time.
Yes, but enough time to make an adjustment, don't you think?
That's strange coming from you. You yourself won't make an adjustment about your wife's death. Well, you think you can give her a chance to make the scene again. If you really believe that...
I do. But Erica will return again. I'm sorry that your father wasn't given the same chance to return to you. Well, I must be off. Quito and the boat are waiting. I have to go over to the main island and pick up some flowers for the service today. You will attend, will you?
If Matt Dawson's conducting it, no thank you.
I'm asking for Erica's sake. Will you come?
I guess I'm just kind of on a swing that pushes me up and then pulls me right back down again.
Well, if your attitude levels off, then the swing will stop. And you'll be better off for it.
Please, don't you play the good gay Padre, too. One's enough. You've already hung Matt Dawson around my neck.
Now, that wasn't my doing. Dr. Carr asked that he be brought over. She wanted a service for her sister.
And you agreed?
Well, yes, to ease her mind.
And your conscience?
It's not troubled, I assure you. What I'm doing for Erica is correct.
I don't know about chironics.
No, cryonics.
Cryonics. But I sure dig the idea. If you can bring your wife back to life, go to it.
Nothing on earth or in heaven will stop me. It's all right. It's just the generator. It's about as temperamental as the weather.
Temperamental. Wow, I promised to pose for Tim this morning. I better get going or he'll throw a tantrum.
Generator, indeed. That inanimate I am not. Now, that little thunder and lightning show was to change the subject so that the sweet child would prepare to pose for dear Erica's portrait, if ever it's going to be finished. And it will. Unless the artist or his temporary model is finished first. Dear me, it does pose a dilemma. Pose, portrait, dilemma. Do you get the play on words? But I assure you, I'm not playing games. I warn you, even the devil can go too far. Warn me? Let me warn you never to warn me again, or the lights may go out forever. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, you were on your way to the main island. Well, get a move on. And don't just bring back flowers. That's all I need. How about Dan Forrest? The one loose end that needs to be tied. He doesn't work for me. I want to be sure that he doesn't work against you.
The forces of evil are at work.
Your father and Erica, dead. Are you certain about her?
Tarot cards do not lie.
You mean these fortune-telling cards? For a moment, I thought you knew something more concrete.
I do. Erica Desmond is dead.
Based on your bag of ESP tricks, I'm a lawyer. I need more substantial facts.
I'd start with these. For over a week now, death on that island has been flashing me warnings and signs of more to come.
Come on, Angie. Purely circumstantial.
Okay. Then how do you explain why the minister was taken there? Why Dr. Mencken died? Why Mrs. Desmond's sister, Alison Carr, never returned, and why she wrote you a letter asking for help? And why was Holly, the little stowaway, kept there? And why was her mother taken there to join her? And why were you fired? Answer one, and you've answered all.
A series of unique happenings which will probably clarify themselves.
A convenient but unconvincing conclusion that would be thrown out of court.
Along with ESP.
Before my father, the conjure man, died, he told me.
Unilateral evidence won't stand up before a judge either.
Except the Almighty.
Do you mean to say when Allison and I first came down here, it had already happened?
I believe it had.
Then why didn't Jean-Paul tell us when we saw him here?
If it was Jean-Paul.
Who else could it have been?
The man who signed your document. Jacques Eloi Desmondes.
Well, he's been dead for 300 years. My office researched it, and history proves it.
My father feared, and I fear too, that he walks again.
Oh. Ghosts, reincarnation, are we back to that?
Transmutation. Perhaps he's trying to possess Jean-Paul's body.
Well, if he does, and mind you, I don't for a minute believe it, what happens to Jean-Paul?
And everyone on Maljardin. That's why they all need help. This way, a man of immense wealth and prestige and power in the world. Reverse him, and he becomes the traditional card of ill omen, the devil himself. Jean-Paul Desmond, or Jacques Eloi Desmondes.
Card tricks. but fascinating, aren't they?
All I know is I'm going over to that island and get some answers.
You should be warned, though. Your mission is a dangerous one.
I've faced that before.
When you can see your enemy, that's one thing.
Search and destroy. It's a modern technique of warfare.
Or be destroyed.
You can't frighten me anymore, Vanjie. I'm already as frightened as I can get.
The boat from Maljardin should be on its way over here.
And I'm going to be on it on its return trip. I've got to find out what's going on over there.
Hey, don't squirm, huh?
My neck is killing me.
Some model. Wonder if Whistler had as much trouble with his mother.
I wish my mother was on canvas instead of always on my back.
Cool it, will you, Holly?
Capturing all her beauty? May I?
No, you may not. No admittance while under construction.
Sorry.
You have a real talent, Reverend, for butting in where you don't belong.
Can it, Holly?
Well, he just knocks me, that's all.
I didn't intend anything.
That's not the picture I get, Reverend.
And when you get the picture of what's going on over there, then what?
I'll take whatever steps are necessary.
Providing you're still on your feet.
Take a walk, Reverend. Tim and I've got work to do.
I belong just where I am, Holly. I've decided to conduct the service for Mrs. Desmond after all. I think her husband would appreciate a cessation in all hostility.
Temporary.
Look, the Reverend's right. Let's pack it in. Got to clean up.
I didn't mean any disrespect. Well, not to Mrs. Desmond.
Underneath the pretty blonde hair and protective armor, she's really a pretty nice kid.
We don't have any quarrel, Tim. There's no need to defend her to me. It seems we both know Holly. It's a pity she can't learn to know herself.
Did you ever meet Erica Desmond?
No.
I really wish I was painting Holly instead of substituting her figure for a dead woman.
They say Mrs. Desmond was very beautiful, too.
Oh, yeah. She was a knockout, all right. Just like Holly. Who's very much a live knockout, isn't she?
You're the artist.
You're a man.
And a minister. And I know my place.
You know, it doesn't feel right what I'm doing. I mean, it's like going to one of those county fairs where you stick your head through a hole with painted body underneath. It all comes out distorted.
Like death. Here you are, painting a portrait of a dead woman. And here am I, preparing to conduct a service for her. Both at the bidding of Erica Desmond's husband, who is positive she will live again.
Strange, isn't it?
Strange enough to make me wonder whether what I'm doing is right or wrong.
You mean conducting the service?
I can commend a soul to God. I can comfort a bereaved man. But I can also condemn his action.
You mean you think what Mr. Desmond is doing may spoil his wife's chance for eternal rest?
For a welcome to God's heaven? No. No. The real question is Mr. Desmond himself.
Well, he doesn't think so. His rent isn't due. I mean, like he owns half the world.
An obsession more powerful than all his little world.
Do you know enough about cryonics to doubt his faith in its success?
I'm only trying to understand it. And the shock forces and his adjustment. It's a great strain. They may be too much for him. Even too much for Jean-Paul Desmond.
Dan Forrest, as I live and breathe. You look as if you lost your last friend.
I thought I had. You.
That was yesterday. Today, clasp hands in friendship. Or whatever.
Jean-Paul, answer a question. Is Erica dead?
Now you know why I wasn't really myself yesterday.
Vanjie guessed it. I couldn't believe it. Why didn't you tell me?
Well, I just can't dispense sorrow and gloom all the time. Isn't there anyone to decant a little cheer-me-upper?
They're not open yet.
Oh.
Anyway, for a man so recently bereaved, you seem almost too cheerful.
Purely a facade. Inside, I can assure you, I'm properly in mourning.
Knowing how much you loved Erica, I can appreciate your display of courage.
Well, it was either that or letting myself go to the devil.
You've too much at stake, too much ahead of you.
I know. That's what enables me to go on. And on. And on.
It must have been very sudden.
What?
Erica's death.
Oh, yes. It was a terrible shock to all of us. Me, especially.
I still can't believe it.
I know. Sometimes I have to pinch myself to be sure it isn't all just a hellish dream.
I can understand that.
Can you, really?
Well, Erica wasn't my wife, but I think I can imagine how I'd react.
Now, sometimes it's beyond the wildest imaginations, some of the things I've been through, and what lies ahead for me.
Well, all our futures are unknown, except perhaps to Vanjie Abbott.
Yes, but if one of her cards, if all of her cards should tear or burn, she would be just as much in the dark.
Provided, of course, one believes in witchcraft for beginners.
Don't you?
Do you?
Well, for years I doubted it.
You mean you don't anymore?
After what's happened to me, I can't gamble on doubting anything.
No, it hasn't been easy for you, has it? Even with all that you've got, because you no longer have Erica.
I will have her again.
Vanjie thinks that something funny is going on that island of yours.
Funny? Well, I assure you no one is laughing.
Well, I was ready to break down the walls just to get over there and see what is happening.
Why bruise yourself? Be my guest.
It's exactly what I've been waiting for. It'll be my pleasure.
Believe me, the pleasure is all mine. Well, I came for some flowers, a little service for Erica. Why don't you pick up your bag and meet me at the dock?
All right? I will, thank you.
Did you hear it all, Vanjie?
Enough to make me wonder if I shouldn't contact all the newspapers and let them find out the kind of man you really are.
You wouldn't do that. Because you're afraid of my power.
In this world? Or the next?
Next world? Oh, what are you talking about? You've been playing cards too much. It's dulling your senses.
My father is dead. I am now the conjure woman. My senses are greater than ever. There is evil roaming on Maljardin. It must be destroyed.
Vanjie, you and your witchcraft. It'll be the death of me yet.
I'm after the devil.
And he's after you.
Little bird, I hope these flowers are the last thing you look upon before your soul departs to the great serpent. I remember that flower. I watched it grow. You cut it for her. Let us hope the little bird sees it, if her soul is to be freed this morning.
You don't seem to have much faith in the last rites of Christianity, Rexel.
Good morning, monsieur. Doctor, since the little mistress believed in the new religion, let their language be used.
New religion?
The worship of the serpent goes back to before the recorded history of the Bible. To Rexel and Quito, ours is the new religion.
Ours? And you deny God?